What's up?
Good morning.
How's it going?
Oh, it is going.
Going well, going not well.
People are still breathing, so that's a good start.
Breathing helps. Definitely a good start. I agree.
There's a few
Yeah.
people that could stop breathing after the nonsense I dealt with yesterday.
Yeah.
Pro tip: never go to the AT&T store and the Galleria in Hamburg. Terrible idea.
I won't go to the AT&T store at all if I can avoid it. So yeah, how was 8%?
It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Good.
So definitely a different vibe this year than in the past as far as message and what have you. So
Good.
nice little change up there for sure.
Like in what ways?
Just the topic and mindset that was behind it.
Okay. What was the topic and mindset this year?
Sharing your gift.
Okay. What's your gift?
Being able to help and care for others and love on them and to be able to lift others up, share with them from past experiences and knowledge, and being able to bless them by passing that on.
So I'm curious. We were chatting via text a little bit, or mostly I was chatting, and then you responded one time this morning. I'm curious if you're willing to. That is, you don't have to if you don't want to, obviously. You said dialing in my goals and making changes to what I'm focusing on. I'm curious as to what those goals are that you're dialing in are, and what changes to what you're focusing are. I'm curious.
Um, Big thing is that I need to focus more on my family for a while.
Yeah, that's a good thing.
So
Don't say it like it's bad news. Do you feel like it's
no,
bad news or good news?
bad in the sense that I've neglected it for so long.
Well, that happens, doesn't it?
Oh yeah, no, it
And
definitely does happen.
so that hopefully that helps somebody else, because I think we've all been there, including me, where I'm doing the same thing. I'm in a better headspace. I'm in Aaron's nanny. She's my grandma too. Um, her passing kind of gave us a little wake up call, a little reality check of what's important, right? Because there's been so many times where I could have gone over and said hi, um, but didn't as often maybe as I wanted to. And so there's nothing wrong with pivoting and looking back at family and all that. And and for me, my family is at home, and my family is our team. And for me, that's really where I'm focusing right now. And the the keys to that is I started to go the other direction. Remember, where, like, what was my goal when I first started building our team? What did I want to have?
Or the Spartan
Yeah,
300.
yes. And so I started to take these steps, action steps, from what others have done, or, oh man, hold on. I started taking action steps what others have done. Can't have not have the lights on. That's not acceptable. That messes with the vibe. Can't have that happening. But I started to, instead of keep what got me where I am, which is being unique to myself, beating my own drum, doing things maybe not necessarily always the opposite of everybody else, but definitely doing things my way, always, and including on building the team part of it. And so I think that's a good message for everybody. Both Tyler and I feel like, we're 6 days apart in age, and so I feel like we both went through this weird, for lack of a better expression, midlife crisis thing, where we both had to go back to our roots and figure out, what do we really want here, because we're going so fast and so far in this one direction. And when you're sprinting, like, I was over at that Wendy's that used to have a field behind it, about a week ago, eating just lunch, passing time before an appointment I had in Broomfield. So I drove by the old houses, and I sat in that Wendy's, and I had to reminisce of us running that night through there. And that's kind of what it felt like for the last 5 years. Felt like I've been sprinting into the darkness because I had no idea what was going to happen. Just kind of putting my full faith in sprinting. I'm sprinting in the right direction, right? I'm doing the right things. And then you look up and you go, okay, what do I have for it? What am I? You're taking inventory on, did we smash our goals? I mean, yes. What were the costs? You evaluate the cost. What was the return? So you can kind of figure out the profitability of your choice making, the same way that you can find out the profitability of your business when you reconcile and look at numbers and things like that. And so I think it's a good lesson that we both are going through at the same time, that you made the decision, in essence, that if we're true to yourself, I don't want to put words in your mouth, so I'll let you do that in a minute. But for me, being true to myself means I'm going back to the Spartan 300 warrior mentality. It's not even 300. Like, for me, in my mind, somewhere around 50 would be the max for our team. So I want it to be something special, and for me, it is special. Every person on our team I care about, not just on a professional level, on a personal level, where it's different, and that's what makes it. That was what made it fun. That's what made me passionate. When I started going down the other road, I was like, oh man, I don't want to play the game of throw 100 people at the wall and hope 10 stick, and of those 10, I hope 2 of them are awesome. That's not what I'm looking for. I'm just looking for people that I like and I care about, and that I have a good vibe and a good chemistry with, and then I want to help them achieve whatever they want to achieve. And so for you, in the last couple of weeks or months or whatever, it's been a while. I feel like the process has been, but we've had to go through that process with you for me to help you get what you really wanted and needed, rather than chasing the rabbit that we were both chasing, right? So you want, like I said, I kind of gave my side of it. Tell me about your side of it and what you've decided to do. And it's not just spending more time with your family, but you have to let go. Like you hear it all the time. Nate says it all the time too. You have to let go of what you have to get what you want, right? And so I think that's the struggle we both have. But
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah. I think part of it comes down to just that warrior mentality and wanting to do, what I think I want, what I'm setting out to do. You've seen it since we were kids, I mean, second grade getting suspended from school for getting into a fight with like 5th graders, right? So I'm like,
but yeah, we were protecting other second graders.
Yeah. I mean, and so it was like, okay, cool. Like I neither one of us have that lay down, give up, I'm gonna throw in the towel mentality at any point, like since we were kids. So looking at it was really, I mean, that was probably the most difficult part of the decision, because I'd set out, I want to build a team, I want to help other people grow and achieve their goals, to see them succeed, bring, a positive impact to their families, their communities, and expand my outreach, because obviously I can only help so many people. And so if I can teach others to do that, that ripple butterfly effect that goes on. So looking at that and then weighing it on the options, I, decided that I'm not going to start building a team at this point in time and step back from that.
But I here's a question for you. In my opinion, as you were saying that, really that's the only thing you're giving up is the team part of it. But doesn't mean you can't still have a positive impact on other people. Doesn't mean you can't still mentor other people when appropriate. You just don't have the pressure, right? And I think that's important for people to know that Tyler's not like giving up on his dream necessarily. Tyler's reconfiguring his focus to what his dream really is. Right. And so you go to that, you'll go through stages in life and success and other things where sometimes when you catch the butterfly, or when you catch the trophy, it's not what you thought it was going to be. And you're like, okay, now what? Right. And that's the fun part of this, is we all choose our own adventure. And, you've done a phenomenal job, Tyler, of mentoring so many people. Holden, Sawyer, you've got a lot of history, and not just there. Like the people at Fidelis, and before that, Broker's Assistants. Any room you're in, I'm assuming at 8%. At any room that you're in, your job in your mind is to make an impact on other people, and that's so for you, you're going to keep doing that. But I think the cool part is now you're going to be able to turn that focus onto your family.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
and I'm really excited to see the results of that, because both of us, if we stop and take a breath, you can look back and say, well, our family needs us more than we've given. And the cool part is now we're both in a position where we can do that. And I can be a little bit late to the pod. Like I said to Tyler, I was going to be about 5-6 minutes late because Paige had a rough night last night. But if I have to start the podcast at 7:30, who cares? Who's going to stop us? Who's going to stop me from doing whatever I need to do to do what I need to do? And that's the cool part of being in this business. And you do it long enough, persistent enough, you have to go through a period where you have to make the sacrifices, right? There's no other way to get where you are. But it's really cool, Tyler, to see you in a position where You can say, you know what, as hard as it is to say, I don't want to build a team right now. I want to focus on my family. I want to enjoy the fruits of my labors for a little while you have this window, right? We all have this window with our kids that shrinks by the day. And yeah, I'm just happy and thankful and blessed that I get to see you go through this next phase in transition into whatever our freaking 40s are going to look like.
Yeah. And that's a whole nother topic, but us getting here, there was a time where I didn't even know that was going to happen.
It's kind of a miracle. It's kind of, if you ask our parents, it might be a little bit of a miracle that we made it.
Yeah, no, I think it was really important to reevaluate where I was at, and I'm more than thankful to be able to have you by my side to do that, to help guide and, you know, put in the landing strip lights for me, whatever, however you want to phrase that, so that I can touch down and enjoy a layover for a little while.
Yeah. And that's the cool part too. It's not like, this isn't like where you're like announcing your retirement from the NFL or anything like that. You're literally just doing what you want to do for a while, and at any point, you can put your foot on the gas again, if and when you wanted to, and you don't have to if you don't want to. And that's the beauty of it. And it's such a fun thing. Such a fun thing.
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that I love is, you know, I honestly, in my heart and my mind, was dreading having to talk to, you know, Holden and Sawyer about that and going through it to get all of that, you know, let them know what that decision was, because in my mind, I felt like I let them down. And Holden's commenting on here that it took months to get me to that point. He knew it. He saw it coming, but it's not like we're not in contact anymore. We're still chatting and messaging and still teammates, you know, still here to be a resource, still able to help him out. I mean, the other night, Sawyer called me asking me for some help on direction with something. So it's like, I can still be there to help and be that resource. And I wasn't looking at it like that when I was making the decision. And I had that, it's killing me.
You had the all or nothing. We have that mentality about us, all or nothing. And so for us, if we go to the nothing side, it feels like we're like really letting go. But in reality, you're just going to nothing on the building a team side. You're not going to zero on the relationship. You're not going to zero on anything else other than that. And so that's the cool part, is we're just killing the head of the beast, and you can put a new head on there, and it has a new identity. So so for me, this is why we do this. This is why, for some of you, this might be your goal, and for some, it's not to get to the top 1%. Okay, and in reality, there's only room for the top one. There's a very small. That's why it's the top 1%. Like, not everybody's going to get to the top 1%. The idea is to shoot for the top 1%, and if you get there, great. But if you don't, if your pursuit is there, that's why they say shoot for the moon. You just might end up hitting the stars. In reality, that's really stupid and backwards if you think about it, because the moon's a lot closer than the stars are. But the mindset side of that is the key to that whole phrase. But, you know, for me, I'm just going to do what I want, and I'm not going to. I'm done worrying about having the top numbers. I'm done worrying about having the top anything, and my focus is now on being the top leader I can be. My focus is going to be on being the top father I can be. My focus is going to be the top husband I can be, top brother I can be, and really become a transcending growth pattern human where frankly, if I'm brutally honest, I don't have a lot to prove anymore in the Medicare space. Like, if I think I've proven that if I'm focused and if I want to, I can put up numbers that most would dream of. And there's a reason for that. But that's the strength that I get to lean back on. That I can, again, the same gas pedal that you have, Tyler, I can push on any time. And so, the mindset part of that, it's okay to pivot. It's okay to switch. It's okay to change your mind. I went from a goal this month of getting myself a Bentley to, why am I chasing the Bentley? I want the Bentley still, by the way. But number one, right now we're trying to sell our house. Number two, I need a bigger garage because I don't want to just drive my Bentley to death. So when I get the Bentley, I want the Bentley to be my Bentley, not the agency's Bentley. And so instead of having my business buy the Bentley, I'm going to buy the Bentley. myself, and it's going to be a year or two from now because I'm going to buy a new Bentley, not a
That's for Holden.
yeah. Holden, sit back and watch the young buck step up. You guys did earn it. Yeah, no, 100% Holden. You're an animal. You're a beast, and anyone who's not following and watching what you again, if you're not copying him, he's just copying what we did, and by copying what we did, he's become an animal in St. Louis and one of the top agents that's going to crush. Watch out, St. Louis. If you're in that area, Holden's a coming. But the the point is, wherever you're at, pretty much, I'm assuming all 6 people watching this are only people in the insurance industry. I have quite a few clients that are on my friends list, but once in a while they'll tell me they tuned in and saw. But that's the cool part about me too is how many people do you know that add all of their clients as friends on Facebook, and then talk about the other side of the business, the greedy part where I can post instead of buying a Bentley. I bought myself a pretty nice BMW. Well, and I bought my wife a better one. Now, it wasn't on purpose. It ended up happening on accident. But I got excited when I saw that she was getting the competition version, and I was just having the basic old M version, right? And let me tell you this, Tyler. These things have retarded power. I use the expression. I apologize. I'm from the 80s, and so that meant a different thing back then. So it has unbelievable power. It has mind-boggling horsepower, Tyler. Let me just put it that way. And so I'm glad Aaron has the more powerful version.
That's probably the safer thing to do.
I would get even more in trouble than I should. But no, it was fun, and it happened back to back. And for me, that's the ultimate goal and dream. Aaron's other car, her Infinity, that was a Christmas present that took me 6 months to deliver on. So I gave it to her for Christmas, but she got it in July. So that's how that worked out. And then, for me, that was one of my favorite things to do. I always grew up, my dad forced me to watch Disney movies like you wouldn't believe. And in the Disney movies, the dad provides, the mom's a stay-at-home mom taking care of the kids and providing for the family and making sure the dad's in position and all that. And I turned that into my reality, where Aaron and I live an existence that I could only have. I don't know, man. It's very interesting reality that I live in.
And I don't want to downplay. I don't want anyone to think that. I don't want anyone to think that's downplayed because she does a ton.
Oh, help out
and support the business.
You have no idea. I wouldn't be able to do
stay-at-home mom.
No. We're blessed that she's a stay-at-home mom. And here, let me give you the powerful of the story. This is why she's a stay-at-home mom. When Paige was a baby, she wasn't a stay-at-home mom. I was grinding, working at the other agency for $53,000 a year. She was working at the hospital full time for $24,000 a year as an IT professional. $24,000 a year, and so we were with commissions and other stuff. We were barely breaking 100K between the two of us. And for the size of the family we had and everything else, we weren't even living paycheck to paycheck. We were creatively living paycheck to paycheck, and it was a struggle for a long time. And the reality of it is, she put me in a position to succeed. I put us in a position to fail. I went all in ways that you shouldn't go all in on buying a new house and a new car and then quitting my job and all, it was really pushing the limit of what you should do when you're trying to provide for your family, so to speak. But I had an undeniable, undying, unshakable belief that I was going to do what I did, and so I just did it. And that's to me, that's a message to anyone. If you believe that you can do something, do it. Don't let anybody else talk to you. Don't let anybody else stop you. Because I had, even now, I have people once in a while that grab at me to try to pull me down with negative ass comments. I can't remember what it was. That's the cool part now. I just flushed it out. So I had one this morning, a family or friend or somebody on Facebook commented on some post, and it just like triggered me for a second. And I was like, you know what? Whatever. you think what you want to think. I'm going to go back to my happiness and my life that is what it is because of the discipline that I had, because of the hard work that I put in, because of the passion that I have. That's the one thing. I did a seminar on Monday in Cheyenne, and 4 people individually came up and thanked me for doing the seminar before it even started. And to me, that is why I do what I do. It's not for anything else. It's because I enjoy people. I enjoy, frankly, the generations older than me. I really enjoy the baby boomers. I really enjoy the Senate generation. Generation X, most of them are pretty awesome. And then you get into our generation and younger, and there's just this wave of difference in mentality, how they treat people, value. Like it's not even, nobody even waves anymore to say thank you when they cut you off. I don't even get flipped off anymore. It's just literally everybody just kind of rah, rah, rah on their own mission in life, right? And I don't want to be part of that. I enjoy the existence I have where we interact with our team, we interact with each other, and I have this very, very small circle of individuals that I deal with, including my clients. And I posted about it the other day, but it was one of the most impactful, rewarding compliments I'd ever gotten. I was sitting there. It was like the 6th time I've gone over this guy's house. Every time I get there, he's underneath somebody else's tractor. That's his job. Basically, is he lives out in the middle of nowhere, Colorado, in the farm areas, and everybody in the area brings their tractors and stuff to him to fix. And so he's always underneath something. Whenever I get there, every single time, he has to like literally put down the wrenches, go use the stuff on his hands to get all the grease off his hands, and I shake his greasy, friendly, but he has soft hands still somehow. I don't know how he pulls that off. But he's a really awesome guy, and I've been over there several times, and he gave me one of the best compliments I've ever gotten, which is, Joshua, every time you come around, when you leave, I feel better about things and life. And that is the impact that I go for. That is the peace of mind aspect of things. Is I want people to know I'm going to show up. Like in my life, Tyler, you're on the very short list of people that I know if I'm in whatever, you name it, insert blank trouble that I'm in, no matter what that blank is, you would be the first in line to come show up.
100% without a doubt.
Right. And so there's a short list of those people in your life that you have to rely on. And that's a part of what gets to the top 1%, is having a circle of people that lift you up when it's time to push you up, that catch you when you're falling, that cheer you on when you're winning. You want to test out who your friends list are, go around and share good news. You want to find out who your great friends are, go around and share bad news and see how people react to those two things. And you find very quickly, like, it's a cliche, Tyler, but both of us, unfortunately, in our youth, made some not so smart decisions. So both of us have spent time in jail. And I think you would agree with me that you find out who your friends really are and who your family really is when you're there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, and, even on that point, my long stint when I got to go into work release for a month, that was courtesy of my mother.
Right.
Who also happens to now be my assistant, and I have a great relationship with.
Well, courtesy of your mother, or courtesy of you being a jackass.
I still think I didn't deserve that one. All I was trying to do was get my mail.
Well, I agree. I'm just giving you a hard time. So yeah, the I guess the message of today's podcast is it's okay to do what you want. It's okay if you've earned the right to get there. Like as my dad said when I was younger, if you want to have fun, you got to do your chores. If you want to do the things that you want to do in life, you have to do the things you don't want to do first. And you have to do them well the first time. I had to learn that lesson the hard way. Well, I remember, Tyler, I think I was 5 or 6. I think it was Paige's age. And for some dumb reason, I still in my mind, I'm like, I look back, I'm like, what are you doing? Why'd you do that? I begged my father for like 3 months to please let me do the dishes. I wanted so badly to be part of the chores and doing the dishes. And so then let me do the dishes, and oh my gosh, I'll tell you this, Tyler, I learned I don't like doing the dishes. It looks way more fun from the other side of the counter. And
Oh,
in that house in Broomfield, we had that stupid hood that was like miswired. So when you went to clean the hood above the stove, it electrocuted you every time. And half the time when you went to turn the light on, it electrocuted you too.
they
So it was
grounded
always
out wrong.
yeah, it was all the it was the old, I called it operation. Is basically what it was. Am I gonna get shocked or not when I touch the light today? Um so yeah, I got back to my roots a little bit just by sitting in Broomfield. Every time I go there, it always takes me back to my childhood, and I think about things. Nanny, I've been thinking about Nanny. She was such a bright spot in for such a short period. It felt like in my life, but it was like 15 years at least. Um, but yeah, life is short. So I guess my advice to everybody is don't let anybody tell you what you should or shouldn't do. And if you think you should do something, do it. And if something's not working, change something. Like, don't keep trying the same stuff or not trying anything. Or inactivity is the killer of any success. So if you want to be successful, just do more stuff, be more active, get out and do more things, get more practice reps, go knock on more doors, go talk to more people, shake more hands, introduce yourself, go outside your comfort zone. Like, for me, I would say 85 to 90% of the reason I wear what I wear, Tyler, is because it's a way that I put on, in essence, a persona. When I put on the uniform, I take a different personality than when I'm not in the uniform.
Wow.
And for me, I have to do that because I'm an introvert and I don't want to be out around people. I don't want to do all that stuff. I, well, I take that back. I want to do it on a very small, selective scale. One on one's my jam.
Yeah.
Aaron's always like, "Can we have like 2 or 3 couples over for dinner?" I'm like, "Ooh, I don't know. How about you just shoot me in the foot and we call it good?"
Maybe we could invite one person.
Yeah. And it's difficult for me to get along with people. I've accepted that, like on a
Well,
core level.
I
Yeah.
think you're great at engaging and getting along with people on a one-on-one basis. When you're
Well,
one-on-one, because you're able to connect and build that relationship on where it is and actually get to know that person, and you're willing to do it on that smaller scale.
kinda. I hate small talk. I really do. I wish we could all just have like instead of like a business resume, you just have like a personal resume that kind of has like a background highlight sheet of what you are, who you believe in, what you do, your hobbies. You just hand me your sheet and see if we vibe or not. I hand you my sheet. You can see if we vibe or not, and then we move on. I don't want. I hate the whole. Hi, how are you? Like, I'd rather spend time talking about how are we going to grow? How are we going to get better? How are we going to do more things? How are we going to have a bigger impact on people? Do you want to start a charity with me? Do you want to do work with me? Do you want to get into commercial real estate with me? Do you want to do insurance with me? Do you want to? I'm looking for that kind of stuff rather than I don't want to fill my life up with just bullshit. I don't want to sit in front of a TV watching TV. Even now, Tyler, I don't even watch the UFC fights that much anymore. It's really weird over time what's happened to me. Everything that I love, all of a sudden, after a certain period of time, I'm just like, this is stupid and boring. What am I doing here?
I think the biggest thing for me with that was like football. Okay, Red. Well, then,
Yeah, no, I thought he was saying Riri there for a sec. I was like, geez, that's pretty aggressive. I thought I was a red. Yeah, no, yeah. I
I mean
do hate small
Sundays,
talk.
but Sundays. That's what I was getting at. Like,
Yeah,
what every Sunday? What were we doing?
watching
Watching
football
Broncos. Watching football.
all day long. Like, how many? If I would have put those, what was that, like 14 hours a day every Sunday into something else? Holy crap! Like
Oh yeah.
anything. If I put it into anything else, if I put it into sewing, I'd be the best seamstress or whatever the hell whatever that's called. I'd be good at that. Put if you put that much time and effort in, instead, I got good at being what? Not. I got zero out of it.
I don't know. I
Zero.
wouldn't say you got zero out of it. You learned how to pick analytics and fact check and do stuff, so it paid off all right on
Well,
on
sure, but
DraftKings.
it helped me with research. And no, and DraftKings, Tyler, honestly, 99% of the time when I win is I just go click, 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 click. I just pick shit based on, like, with the UFC fights, I'll just watch the replay of the weigh-ins, and I look at the two guys standing next to each other, and I basically think, okay, if I saw those two guys, who do I think can kick each other's ass? It's literally all the information I apply to it, unless I know the fighters, and I can use a little bit more intel. But no, I don't. Both times when I've hit the big parlays and other stuff, um, it's all been completely random and luck. And frankly, the first time it was an illegal knee on a guy that was getting his butt kicked all the way into round 5. Then the guy kneed him in the face illegally and won from disqualification. So there was that one. And then this last one, the odds of having all this stuff, it's like all the stars lining up in one spot. I consider it like a lottery win. But here's what I believe also. I believe that I can will myself to win, because I've done it 4 or 5 times in my life. First time was at after prom. I'm at after prom. The big prize that year, 1999, the big prize was a TV VCR combo. 19-incher, bro. And anyways, I go, I'm going to win that son of a bit. I looked at everybody at my table and I go, I'm winning this. You ready? They're going to draw my name. And they drew my name. And then I was at the CU Buffalo luncheon. It's the only time I worked for Rudy for 15 years. And he invited me one time and one time only. And then one time only, I'm sitting there and I have my raffle ticket. And I'm like, I'm going to win something. I don't know what it is. I'm winning something. And I can sort of, 556553 was my ticket number. And they called it. And I won the Run with Ralphie. And I got to go to the CU game and be on the field with the mascot and all the other. And you can will yourself to win. You can will yourself to win contests. You can will yourself to win. You have to see it to have it happen. You can manifest, visualize yourself doing it. Now, everyone's going to go, bull crap, I've been visualizing winning the lottery for years. Yeah, but you didn't really believe you were going to win it. Trust me when I say, I believe in my heart, like I'm winning this son of a bitch right now, and then it happens. But if you're just like, I hope I win, that's not believing that you're going to win. It's the same belief that I had when I hit the field that I'm going to be the best agent in the country, period. That was my goal. Maybe I am, maybe I'm not. All I can say is there's not very many people that could put up the numbers I can in the field, period. Right? Same thing with you, Tyler. You're in that same category. When you're not distracted and properly motivated, you can crush, 500 apps in a week?
In a week, I don't know, but in
That's
an AEP for sure.
You can definitely do more apps than Holden. That's what I know.
Well, yeah, I mean that's a no-brainer.
That goes without saying. We'll see if we trigger his red here. So yeah, we've got like 20 minutes left because we started a little bit early or late. It's early in our style, right? I feel a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, your shoulders, and I'm in such a good mental place that I can't wait to see what's next. I can't wait to see who the next superstar that we help is. I'm super excited. Did I tell you Cindy Ashton's coming back to the squad?
Yeah, you mentioned that. I'm super excited for that because I love Cindy to death.
She is one of the sweetest humans I've ever met. And I couldn't be tickled pink more that she's coming back to the squad. She's going through some stuff, but you'll see, he says.
Let me know when you beat 200 and then we'll go from there.
Yeah, buddy. You got to crack the old 200 before you can even talk to us about getting in the club. We'll see what he says to that.
No, Cindy's amazing, and I'm really glad that she's coming back on the team and everything there because, like you said, I think it's the Spartan mentality and mindset. It's not necessarily where everyone on the team's going out and killing 500 apps and has to do that. It's about pushing them to achieve the goal they want to get.
Well, and for me, the Spartan warrior part is where they're making an impact at the level they want to make.
Well, and they're doing it as a team and a family, you know?
Yeah.
They lock shows, make the play links, and, you know, that's what makes it successful.
Right. And so for the team out there, the team chat has been getting awfully quiet lately. and we're gonna have to pep that thing up. We need to wake everybody up. If I have to go door knocking to each one of my teammates, I will, to get some hype going. You know what I'm saying? I've got time. I think my schedule would argue against that, but I'm excited. I've got another set of seminars the rest of this week, tonight, tomorrow, Friday. I think I've got about 100 people I'll be educating over that time period, and the team has proven time and time again that if you just follow the system, whatever system, find a system that you vibe with, that you have chemistry with. Find a leader that you like and that you enjoy and that makes you laugh, that makes you cry, that helps you, that lifts you up, that pushes you when they need to push you. You need to have a good coach in your life. And a good coach doesn't tell you what you want to hear all the time. A good coach pushes you. A good coach is going to make you mad at them sometimes. A
No,
good coach is going to make you want to fight them sometimes.
they're gonna
And
call you on your bullshit, and that is just as important as anything else.
yeah, yeah,
Pushing you to do more, whether it's when you think you can't do more or you're not, you're thinking that you're hitting your goals and pushing you where you are, you're not there. Um, or whether it's letting you know, hey, you're pushing too hard and you need to throttle back a little bit. You're not in a good space.
yeah. There
But
is such a thing as too much.
I think like what keeps coming back to me is with the 8%, the first speaker that came out and opened up the conference was amazing. It's Carlos Boozer. And he's talking about when they were on the Redeem team and they're out in Vegas practicing and stuff. And so they're all standing out there and there's 12 of them and 11 of them decide to go out. And they're out partying because, it's Vegas. The way he told the story is just hilarious. Yeah. And talking about going out and he's hanging out with all these dudes and, they come walking in, him, Mello, all these other guys come walking back into the casino, going up to the hotel at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. And they're all, a little tipsy because, it's Vegas. Like, just the way he was saying it. And they're all walking up to the room. And the one guy on the team that didn't go with them passes them on their way in. It was like 5 o'clock in the morning. We're all walking into the hotel and this dude's walking out. Like, yo, Cobe, where are you going? And the only thing he replied is, I got goals, and just kept on walking. And that's one of the things that really kind of resonated with me when we were there. Cause I'm like, just the way he was talking about, I was like, man, he's got goals. I got goals. Well, maybe I don't have goals. I'm out partying until 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. Do I really have goals? And, making you think about reevaluating where you're at and what are those goals? If their goal was to go out and get hammered and just 3 sheets in Vegas, they were crushing their goal, but I don't think that was their goal.
Well, I think we all have goals. The key to those that reach their goals are the ones that prioritize the goal. So it's one thing to have a goal, but it's another one to make it your priority, that the goal is the priority. When the goal becomes a priority, AKA when my goal became write 500 applications in AEP, that became my priority over everything else, including my family, including myself, including everything. So I think goals are great. And I like that. I love, for a long time, I hated Kobe, mostly because he always broke my heart when I was a fan. And I did care. At this point, I couldn't care less. Who, for me, at best, the only time I care is if I've bet on them. So if I have money invested in the win or the loss, that's the only time I care. Outside of that, I could care less. Which team puts the ball in the hole more than the other? Which team hits the ball over the fence more than the other? Which team runs the ball over the line more than the other? I'm way past the mindset that is a fan. Like for me, a fan is somebody that can't do it themselves. Yeah, that's it. So for me, I'm all about what are the things I can get involved in, where I can be involved, that I can do, that I can make an impact, and so that's what I focus on. But I think athletes offer a different perspective because competing in sports, especially at the highest level, like professional sports, is a dichotomy of life. And it's just like I argue that our industry or any commission only industry offers an opportunity to find out who's who. It's one of the few industries that you're never over or underpaid in. You get exactly what you earned. Exactly what you earned. And if you're not getting what you think you earn, then you need to adjust the things that you're doing and or the people you're following and or the system you're running to figure out where the gaps and the holes are. To me, it's a lot like having your underground sprinkler system and you know there's a leak somewhere. Well, how do you find the leak? You have to start isolating and identifying and start figuring out what parts of your process are not working. Because I'll give an example, Tyler. Back when I was working with Rudy, we first started gotten into Medicare really heavy, and we were starting to do some turning 65 drops. And we were able to generate a ton of leads, just lead after lead after lead after lead. And we were giving them out. Everybody got like 50 leads. Everybody got 50 leads. It felt like Oprah. Here's 50 leads for you, 50 leads for you, 50 leads for you. And then everybody would come back and say, I can't get them to answer the phone again. So the problem we were having is we were able to get them on the phone the first time, and then they would never talk to us again. And what we ended up finding out was against your intuition, because your intuition is to educate to prove you know what you know. What we were doing is we were over educating them to the point where they didn't need us anymore. They were like,
well, they felt like they didn't need us.
Well, but that is where they don't need us. If they feel that way, then they don't, and that's what happens. And so we had to figure out where's that line where we can prove we know what we know, but not give them enough information where they can feel like they could do it without us. Right. And so sometimes that's the kind of adjustments that you have to make. But the only way you figure that out is by doing it. The only way you figure that out is by trying different things and thinking creatively and breaking. You have to have a process, number one, because then you have variables that you can isolate and modify. You can figure out which when you change this variable, what happens? Oh, more people show up. Great. Then keep doing that. And if something's working, don't mess with it. Just just don't mess with it. You can find a new way to do things, other ways to do things, but don't mess with stuff that's working, because eventually stuff that's working will stop working.
And then
the way it is. Then you start messing with it. That's right. Yeah. So I believe number one, yeah, Brian, I wish I could have been there. It was probably one of the better things that could have happened though. And being able to be there for my wife, and then we got some extra time together. We ended up having 3 days without kids, and so 3 days without kids was an interesting experience with my wife. It was fun. We went to the casino a few times. I won money each time, which was fun. Yeah. It's probably not a good thing for me to win the casino, because then I think I can do it all the time. Right. But yeah, no, it was a good time. I'm really looking forward to LaunchCon. So that's been scrolling on the bottom of the screen this whole time. If you're in this industry and you're not going to go to LaunchCon, then that means you are already ready to write 300 or 400 or 500 more apps than you did last year. If not, I'd really recommend it. I'm going to have some people that I know that have really crushed AEP. I tried to get Tyler to come, but he's refocusing, and so Tyler won't be there. But Tyler's going to crush AEP anyway. So,
yes and no. And I was trying to look because it's the end of August, right?
August 25th, 26th.
25th and 26th?
Yep.
And it is Knoxville?
Knoxville, Tennessee, at the high place there in Knoxville, Tennessee. Try to put it in the center of the country so that I have to basically take the same flight and the long of flight as everybody else. So I try to make it where it's similar flight from the west side and the east side of the country. Some of it a hub. We'll see how it goes this year. I was going to do it in Colorado, but I tried to put it somewhere where it was easier to get to for everybody.
So, yeah, no, I was looking at it because I was thinking that it was the week before, like 2 weeks before that. I was thinking it was the 18th.
No. We were going to do that for the team. So I was going to do a team LaunchCon event, and then 2 of the 30 people registered, and so I've canceled that. So, okay, fine. The team has spoken. Yeah, what's up, Jalen? How you doing, buddy? Look forward to seeing you there as well. So yeah, the AEP, number one, Tyler Tingu is attending. Be there.
I just
All
got
right.
called out.
You did just get called. That's funny. So, if you're not, number one, if you're going to go to LaunchCon, or if you're not, you really should start your AEP planning now. You really should start reaching out to your current clients right now. You should start, even if it's okay, even if you have a budget. So you should do client appreciation events. In the beginning, you might not have that much money, so do a client appreciation barbecue before it gets cold wherever you are. And so I'm doing mine the second week of September this year. Last year and the year before, I've done them in June. And I'll tell you, the clients love them because everybody reached out this year in June and was like, okay, did I miss them? What happened? Are you still doing them? But we're doing them in September. And a third of the people, it's been pretty funny, a third of the people so far that have RSVP'd for my clients, they go, can I bring a friend? Bring all of your friends, please.
I suppose I can let you bring
Yeah,
other people to
we'll
introduce them to me.
we'll make an exception this time. Okay, how do you guys handle getting a scope over the phone when the seniors and tech savvy? Yeah, for me, I'm face to face. That's my priority. But how would I do it if they weren't tech savvy? I would resort back to the old school, and I would probably put a scope of appointment in the mail with a return envelope and a stamp on it, where they could just sign it and mail it back to me.
If you're doing it over the phone or virtual, if you're doing it virtually with them, then they should be tech savvy enough to complete it. But if you're just doing it over the phone, if they have a smartphone of any sort, now if they're on a flip phone, it doesn't work. But I have people who aren't tech savvy.
You can walk them through it.
Some of the carriers, WellCare is a great example. Not that I do a whole lot with them other than drug cards, but they have through the Ascend app. You just put in the scope, you hit send, and it sends them a text. Literally, all they have to do is if they can open a text message, they tap on the link. It pulls up the scope. They scroll to the bottom and hit the little green button that says, yes, they agree to the scope of appointment. Super simple to get that done. So if they have a flip phone, I'm mailing them a paper scope.
And the other question was, can we verbalize which products we are going to discuss and have them agree to it? Would that suffice? Like to do a verbal scope, you got to go through special training and have special authorizations to do a verbal. That's basically a call center situation. So you'd have to have a special contract. But for me, I would just take it slow and use the 2 days in the mail. So people like that psychology when you're not being pushy, and nothing says let's slow this thing down other than let's do it through the mail. And so that I would use that as my backup. But I would say if you have Sunfire or Connecture or any kind of that technology, or even the carrier sites at this point, most of them have made getting a scope pretty easy. I always, just for the record, Jalen, I always get a paper scope because I don't want any trouble. Because the first thing that they ask for, if there's any kind of complaint or issue that you have to answer to, is they ask for the scope of appointment, and I don't want to have to rely on technology. Like, ooh, we lost it, or that got lost in the data, or whatever. So that's the second tip. If you're going to do an electronic scope, print it off right away so you have a copy of it.
Yeah, I was going to say for paper scope, I want to clarify on that. I do the same thing, but you can open up any one of my files, and I've got a printed copy of that. Plus, it's scanned and saved into my OneDrive and attached to their folder on the
Outlook,
the CRM.
Buried in the backyard. There's several copies ready to pull out at any time.
Yeah, I don't bury money in mason jars in my backyard, but you'll dig up a crap
scope of appointments. That's right.
All
right.
I was actually thinking about that the other day with the scopes and the 48-hour rule coming in. I've been thinking about doing that and just a blanket mailing that. One of the tips that I might be able to give to bring some value to anybody, if you're setting up to do your AEP reviews and everything like that, I always send out a reminder, postcard, email. This year I'm thinking I might just do a letter instead. A lot of work hand addressing the damn things, but it's always worth it because I get a good open rate on everything. But putting a scope in there and having it ready to go for them so that they have that and they can scan it, send it back to me, mail it back to me, whatever the case is, so that I have that for all my reviews and take that part of it out of the way. And if I've got a signed scope from them from October 1 or September 28th, saying I can talk to them during AEP, it's good for 90 days minimum, or now they're good for a year, right? for the permission to contact.
Yeah.
So, hey, I got a scope. It's good for 12 months. And talk to him during AEP, and I've got my 48-hour rule out of the way for all my book of business. So that's 1,200 I don't have to worry about.
Yep. Any other questions from the gallery? Next week, what I'd like to do. So for any of you tune in next week, because what we would like to do is invite a viewer into the podcast next week, to where we'll send you the link to join, and we'll have you jump on with us and pick our brains if you want. I really want this to be something that, if somebody's going to like watch us, that they get something of value out of it. I don't want to. I'm not doing this just to be on TV. That's for sure. I'm trying to help people do more business, write more apps, change their life, be in a position. Okay, cool. So Jalen, next week we'll have you jump in live. Send me. Let's see. I'll send you a message, and we'll because I have your contact info from your registration for LaunchCon. And so I'll just reach out to you, and I'll send you the link to join next week. So we'll have Jalen Scott live and in the studio with us. Well, not really live, but in the studio virtually. And we'll cut it up with him and figure out what we can do to help. But yeah, the AEP is coming. If you haven't done your certifications, this is my reminder to get your certifications done. Make sure you're done. I had a situation where United Healthcare was going to advertise a bunch of stuff, and I sent them all my dates and all this stuff, and she comes back and she goes, "Your certifications aren't done." I was like, "Yeah, they are." She said, "No, they're not." Like, "Yeah, they are." So I log in. I hadn't hit submit on the very last little thing to do the quick certification for United, or the fast pass, whatever the hell it was called. And so I just had to do that. But double check your certifications, make sure they're done, make sure you're reaching out to your clients. If you really want to know the secret to having a great AEP, it's doing great the rest of the year, because if you do great the rest of the year, you're going to run into a third of the people that you sit down with where they don't need to make a change, or they can't make a change. Either they don't have an election period right now, or the plan they're on is already the right plan for them. Every single one of those people, what I used to do is say, "Hey, is it okay if I call you in October?" And they would say, "Yeah." And then I would have this pile of papers that I have to go through and call in October. Instead, what you want to do is it's the pick up the trash as you see it, not later mentality. And so just put them on your calendar, whether they like it or not. Say, we're just going to throw something on there because my calendar fills up so fast that time of year. We're just going to throw you on there. And if you need to move it later, we can. But then what you'll start to do is you'll fill your appointment book with, in essence, referrals and or retries, or people that need to reevaluate for AAP, and you can really fill up your calendar for AAP if you do it right. In my opinion, if you do it right, your AEP calendar should be full from October 1st to November 1st at minimum by the time you hit October 1st. And if you really want to do it right, you fill up by the time you hit October 15th through November 15th is filled up. And then your job becomes keep your calendar full instead of fill it up from scratch. It's always easier to keep it full than fill it up from scratch, both physically, mentally, psychology, the psychological thing behind it. Everything about it makes it easier. When I hit the 15th of October and I look at my calendar, I'm like, I mean, it's a little stressful to go, oh my gosh, I have no moment to breathe for the next month. But at the same time, it's like, wow, I'm going to be able to help so many people in the next month. And just flip the mentality, glass half full, glass half empty. You choose which side of the glass you stare at, by the way. So you do that and take control of AEP now. You should start filling up. Like yesterday, I had a meeting with one person on our team. The first thing you do for AEP is you set your what I call cornerstone events. So this is where you file all your events with the carriers. You're going to do all your presentations, all the events, all the fairs, all the informal sales event table kiosks that you're going to do. Get all that stuff set up now so that you can start planning around those events in your schedule. So if you know you're going to be in a certain city on this day, then start calling all your clients in that area and trying to fill that day up where you're efficient with your time, with your gas, with your effort, with everything else, and start to really segment out your calendar and try to start filling it now. Reach out to your referral partners that you have. Reach out to your doctor's offices or your food banks or your whatever, any referral partners that you have. You need to reach out to them now and start setting up mindset for AEP and say, hey, look, the season's coming. I'd love to position. Is it okay if I have a table here once a month, once a week, depending on what kind of flow you think you'll get? Start setting those locations now. Reach out to the VFWs now. Reach out to the American Legions. Reach out the all these places. It's now when you start to want to reach out and start filling up your calendar, so that when you get to AEP and you start planning, it makes the backfill process easier, and you can start to control your schedule. Like, let me just remind all of you, it's programmed into our minds to be courteous when we're scheduling. But what I'll tell you is most of these people you're helping are either in control of their calendar completely because they're retired, or they'll make time for you for this important thing. And so don't be afraid to give them one or two options that are good for you and your schedule based on where you'll be geographically if you're doing in person. And if you're doing over the phone, start with the 15th and just don't give anyone any other option. Just say, I have an opening on the 15th. I have 9 a.m. or 2 p.m. They say the 15th doesn't work, then default to the 16th. Go one day at a time until you find the day. Don't let them pick and choose in your calendar, because that's how you'll get scattered out. You want to control it from day one. Any tips for you, Tyler?
Yeah, with the calendar thing, if you use any type of booking link or something, like I still do use Calendly for a lot of stuff to schedule that. Limit that scheduling time to like 7 days out or 8 days out until your schedule starts filling up on there, to where you can expand it out further to do that, to where it caps it out. Otherwise, like last year, I had people using the link in the middle of September to schedule an event in the middle of November. And I'm like having to move a couple things around a few times because they picked 12:15 in the middle of the afternoon while I'm trying to run appointments, going to different people's houses that same day. Or I had to schedule a flight because I was coming out to Denver to do all in-person stuff. There was 3 people I had to move around because of that. So definitely limit how far out they can book if they're using an auto scheduling link.
Mm-hmm.
And Brian, thank you for that, because knowing that we're helping you is the whole reason we're doing this. So really appreciate you being on today.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Appreciate everybody that tunes in, because if we had 0 viewers after like 6 or 7 tries, I think we'd probably be like, yep, we take the hint. As long as we're impacting one person each week, we're going to keep doing these I love doing them. Tyler loves doing them. So half the time it's our chance to be therapeutic with each other and chat. So you guys get to see just us chat as friends and catch up sometimes. But we both have a lot to offer in different ways, and we hope we can help you. Honestly, I learn a lot by helping others. So some of the best stuff I've learned is from other people asking me for help. And then I have to dig in and figure out answers to solve their problem. And then later on, I now have the skills to solve my own problem. And so that's really the beauty of life and growth and all that. And so thanks for tuning in. We're going to end it now. We went 5 minutes over. So we showed up 5 minutes late. And we went 5 minutes over. So we are overachieving again. We'll see you at LaunchCon. If you haven't gotten your ticket, you're crazy. We do have a limit. I think it's about 75 or 80 people that we can cram in there. And unless we do laps, we might be able to get 100 if we have 25 couples that really sit on laps or something. But I'm excited, ready to pour into everybody. And we hope to see you next week. Have a great week.
Take care, everybody.